I woke up at one point, noticed that I was over the 2,000 subscriber mark, which was, I think, the goal of this channel. Since I don't use this channel to make money, I don't need to. I just set a modest goal, and 2,000 subscribers is kind of a big deal in the crazy, convoluted world that is YouTube. So I want to welcome all of you new subscribers, and I want to thank Doomcock for the shout out. He and I have been talking about a lot of different things. I've been on his channel a few times, and I don't think there are many YouTubers with more integrity than him. And unlike a lot of people, he really cares about these franchises and our culture. And I come from, I'll tell you, back, oh God, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I got involved with Breitbart.com. I am a former congressional staffer. If you don't know, I went to work in Washington, D.C. for a nonprofit, and then I got a job with the House Majority Leader's office. And at the time, it was the congressman serving the 26th District, Texas, Richard K. Army. And I learned a lot. And then when he retired, I went, worked for the executive branch. I got a job through the White House because I do work. I kind of was on the periphery of the inaugural board for George W. Bush. I did a lot of stuff helping them with the transition. In one of the jobs I had before I worked for Army. So you will get politics here. I've since learned that George Bush was not. I think he was sincere in his heart, but we are still living with the ramifications of his decisions. Hindsight, being 2020, shows that a lot of people being cautious about Afghanistan and outright, why are we going into Iraq? We're right. So, history is a series of random events, terrible events, and near escapes. And we're kind of, sometimes we are leaves on a stream that keeps on going. Anyway, so I come from that political environment. I consider myself now a libertarian populist. I'm not, too many people have shown their stripes, and I don't like people who are not authentic. But I got involved with Breitbart.com. I got married in 2004. My husband, who is now, after 30 years in the Marine Corps, retired as a senior colonel. So I did the Marine Corps wife. And I gotta say, girls, if you're out there and you have a career, one day you're gonna look back and say, where did all the time go? Why did I waste my time with this? There are more important things. Okay, so if your husband can go out and slay the dragons, let him do it. Okay, kids need you home, and I think for your own soul and your own sanity, you need to be home too. I've learned the hard way. I don't like many people. Okay, but no, I got involved with Breitbart.com. I wrote a thing for them. I was friends with Mike Flynn, who edited the website Big Government. And I, know a lot of contributors like Gary Brown, Charles Weinkauf, Lee Scott, who's a really good friend of mine, and several others. And it showed me, just a second, I'll be right back. All right, you can see Kojak is sitting there by the window. He's leaving. Hey, Letters. Oh, thanks. Thank you. That moment when Breitbart started getting famous and talking about the culture in Hollywood. This was before wokeness. But he was basically saying that there's a subculture of conservatives, people who don't follow the herd, that are being shut down by the people in charge. Okay. And we know it's Cameron Pasha calls it the club, and it is the club, truly. And, it's just one of those things where he kind of made it a big deal, and he gave people who are actors and directors and others that are part of the industry a place to come and talk about it. Adam Baldwin, the guy from Firefly, and he played the major who shoots the alien in Independence Day. He was a big contributor to Breitbart. It's very interesting to me watching how people now in Hollywood that are not following the herd are starting to find their voices. Sometimes it gets them into trouble. Sometimes they don't understand the consequences when they don't have the power or the means to protect themselves. Okay. For instance, my friend Lee Scott, he's now got his own film studio. It's American Biography, all right, and he's very successful with it, and he can be the guy he wants to be. There are others, like my good friend Peter Eaton, God bless his soul, passed away just last week. Independent film director, a Christian, a very good film director, by the way. A lot of talent is being overlooked in Hollywood over stupid things like, wow, you voted for Trump, or you voted for Bush. It just, they forget what country they're in. Okay. So Breitbart gave a lot of people the opportunity to talk about what Hollywood is really like. Okay. And I got involved with that. And this channel was born out of frustration over The Last Jedi. It took me, I struggled to like that movie. But when you walk out of a movie, a Star Wars movie, the first one, which should be triumphant, the first victory of the rebels, the victory over the separatists on Naboo, the trade nation, and the trade army. Instead, we got silence. People walked out silently. I walked out going, I want to like this movie because my favorite actor, Harrison Ford, and I'm wearing it today in his honor because of what I'm going to talk about eventually here. Was in the movie, and he played my favorite character, Han Solo. A character that I think even OT fans overlook. I think he's much more interesting than Luke, because Luke's hero's journey is a trope, and Han's is very different. But there's so many different elements going into Star Wars. I've talked about it before on the channel if you want to dig those up and just kind of peruse. And I was mad. I don't know why, but I was mad. So I started this channel. The first few videos, I think in 2017. The first few videos, or maybe like 2016. But no, it was after Carrie died. But the first few videos are gone now. I deleted them. Just because, after a while you kind of look at them going, God, I was an amateur then. You kind of hang out there, and when you're looking at where this went and the hope that we had, that Rian Johnson, of all people, would fix what JJ broke. Didn't realize at the time what was going on, that they didn't have a plan, that Rian was just allowed to do whatever he wanted, that The Jedi was okayed on a first draft. You know, morning, Carlos. That the TLJ was going to be nothing but soul killing, nihilistic SJW rant, which is what it was. And and what they did when we came out enraged by what they did to Luke, what they did to Leia, the introduction of Chairman Mao's fourth wife, Rose Tico, and the Miranda Hobbs, only worse, that purple-haired psychopath, Haldo. We didn't know that was going to happen. And when it did, we were like, and Johnson said, I'm going to subvert expectations. Why? This guy, all right, I always tell people, if you want to know who someone is, look at their art. Look at what they create. When you look at the TFA and The Rise of Skywalker, basically, JJ is nothing more than a dickless chicken shit who won't stand up for the work. He knows. He even said The Rise of Skywalker sucks. I understand why you guys don't like it. He wouldn't stand up and say, I'm not going to do this. This doesn't make any sense. This isn't Star Wars. Okay? And there's a lot more going on with that, The Rise of Skywalker, than we've been led to believe. Trust me, I've heard rumors, and I think they're true. Okay? Just because of things that we know happened, that had happened in the legitimate press and that are out in public. But Rian Johnson is the kid in high school, short, fat, who everybody hated, who would hate on everything just because everybody liked it. Okay? That's who he is. Maybe I'm wrong. But I knew a kid like that. You'd walk in on a Monday morning. The Packers won a football game, which is very rare in the 80s, and I used to be a football fan. Everybody was pretty happy. And he would say something shitty just to say it. But if it happened, there were like 2 or 3 Vikings fans. If they were happy, he would say something shitty to them. Thanks, Joker voice. So that's Rian Johnson. Okay? He has absolutely no meaning in his life. He's a nihilist. He doesn't believe in anything. Oh, yeah, you're right, Eldridge. And that's Rian Johnson. So that's what we got. The kid who says they like Star Wars, but decided, because he never got to play Luke Skywalker when everybody was playing, to kick the shit out of Luke Skywalker. To never give Han Solo his just due credit, which is what Han should have got at the end of The Force Awakens. Fuck you, JJ. And turn Leia into God knows what the fuck that was. Disgracing everything George Lucas built. Ruining it. Why? I don't know. Does he have a personal grudge against George? He always says, he even said, don't meet your heroes. Well, first off, considering that Rey didn't know who Luke was, why was Luke her hero? This is how bad the story is. She didn't know that Luke was real. What the hell is going on here? Okay? It's a malfunction on steroids. Hey, Mexican Iron Man. How you doing? Copy, I read you loud and clear. So, then we get JJ back. Okay, this channel exists because I love Star Wars. Because after reading Andrew Breitbart's reasons for creating Breitbart.com, and how he saw, Matt Drudge leak the Clinton philandering with Monica, and how he helped set up Ariana Huffington's Huffington Post, he learned a lot about how to do that on the internet. But also, he was a libertarian, a liberal, a real liberal. And he saw a lot of really bad things in Hollywood because he grew up in that area. Okay, so he brought us. What I love about him when you read about all the music that he loved, because I'm friends with that Larry O'Connor, who would do a late night radio show on Fridays or Saturdays. And when my husband was in Afghanistan, I'd be laying in bed with a book with my dog in my lap. I had a golden retriever at the time that everybody who's an old school subscriber knows is Buford. And I would listen to them, and they talk about all of this obscure alternative rock and punk. And I'm a metalhead, but I also love punk rock. I mean, I've got a Sex Pistols t-shirt somewhere, and a Clash t-shirt, and a Susie and the Banshee t-shirt. And so he was a punker. He brought punk rock to the alternative news and to the people who didn't agree with the way Hollywood is being run, with the way the country is being run. Okay? Thanks, Critical Equation. And that's what I bring, I think. I learned that from him. I bring that to this. I used a lot of Sex Pistols music in my first videos. Didn't really understand how to do the sound. I had a lot of run-ins with Pablo Hidalgo. I first realized one of the big Lucasfilm guys was on Twitter. I wanted to befriend him. And he treated a friend of mine who was 20 years old and a genius like shit. And it started making me wonder, so I started digging up things about him, and I'm like, oh my God. And it brought me back to what my former boss, Dick Army, said. You are, me and everybody else, the face of the office. This is what my constituents see. This is who they think I am. Never forget that. He was right. I have a blurb from the movie The Patriot when Laura Cornwallis is telling Tavington, what is done in my name reflects upon me. Okay, so you've got, Hidalgo, Matt Martin, Andy Gutierrez, I discovered by, doing my sneaky research thing that I do, that she no longer works at Lucasfilm, that her show, That Star Wars Show, or The Star Wars Show, has been put on hiatus. Okay, she's now working for another PR firm. And the reason why I got so upset is because George Lucas would not let this happen. He wouldn't let this happen. This would not be going on. Granted, some people might not have liked his ideas for his sequel trilogy. Maybe I wouldn't have. But it's his show, okay? And maybe we would have learned the reasons why he did it that way. He was very transparent of why he did the prequel trilogy the way he did. Okay? And he still gets shit I have a good friend who's a nationally known critic who hates it. And I go, you realize this is what he wanted. And if you look at his reasons, you realize, thanks, Vicky V, he was right. Just enjoy it. Okay? So the reason why I did this channel is because I love Star Wars and I didn't like the way it was going. And I figured, yeah, that's George. Mike is right. There you go. But I didn't like the way Star Wars was going. I didn't like the way the fans were being treated. And I wanted to put a voice out there, an alternative voice. Now, I'm going to say this. I have a temper, okay? I have rules. One of the rules are, and this is a big one, this was my confirmation gift from my mother-in-law. This was given to her by her confirmation sponsor back in 1947, okay? I grew up a cradle Catholic. I left the church, kind of. Never stopped believing in God. Always respected Mary. My mom and dad gave me that. When I met my husband, I found my way back to the church. Okay, I'm devout. And if you come on here and you say something crappy about my faith, you're gone. Cameron Pasha is a devout Muslim. You say something bad about Islam without really knowing, all the different things about it, okay? You're gone. Same thing with Judaism or any other Christian sect or Buddhism or Taoism or whatever, okay? It's not that I'm politically correct, okay? I'm not. I am the Samantha Jones of the fandom. I will be brutally honest. There are people out there that hate my guts because I am. Okay, I don't care. All right. I learned decades ago not to give a shit about what people think of me. Okay? It's time people stop that. Peer pressure is evil on steroids. It stunts what people want to say, and it stunts their growth, and it hurts the conversation. Okay? Because I'm telling you, people that form a narrative in the YouTube community, they're not the ones in the majority. Everyone is too afraid to challenge them. Okay? That's wrong. That is wrong. Okay? And I stand against that. Okay? But you don't rap on someone's faith for any reason here. Okay? This is America. It is a melting pot. Free speech also dictates the freedom of religion. Corian Witch in Residence has become one of my favorite people on Doomcock's channel, and I love listening to his takes. I did dabble in that kind of religion for a little while when I was in the desert after my father died. I didn't do it, I didn't follow it, but I respect him. Okay? If you come on here and say something crappy, you're gone. The Blue Wrenches have full on authority to take you out. Here's another thing. People no longer listen to understand. They listen to respond. And I see that a lot with the Black Pill channels. Okay, I've had several people who, I had one yesterday call me delusional or the day before, because, I have really gone hard into what the public knows about what's going on at Lucasfilm and Disney, and how the rumors are parallel with what we know. And a lot of it jibes. I'm delusional because of that. Now, let's ask these people, can you read the subtext? Do you understand financial things? No. When you've got people telling friends of mine that are financial people who've been in the business for 20 years that they don't know what they're talking about. This is the thing. If you do that, you're going to be on the Wrench's radar. And the reason simply is this. You're being, I think, misled by people who don't want Kennedy to go because they made money, piles of it, on her being there. Now, I am a ravenous capitalist, ravenous, but I wouldn't care if these people pole danced, to borrow a reference from the movie The Devil Wears Prada, as long as they did it with some integrity. Okay? All right? That's all I ask. Okay? But to sit there and dismiss George Lucas not showing up to, I don't think they will, Adia, so thank you. When you look at George Lucas not showing up to The Rise of Skywalker, you go back into what Doomcock was saying and what other people were saying, that George was involved with trying to fix what was broken, that JJ actually enlisted his help, that George helped write some things and do some things, and that Kennedy was so lost her mind when she saw the assembly cut that she ordered 40%, I say more, reshoots, and the movie was reshooting all the way into November before it was put out. Okay. And then George doesn't show up. And then the rumor that Doomcock put out there that one of the money guys, let's say some guy from BlackRock, hey Jay, My friend Jay Cotto is in the house, an old friend from days of yore. I do believe this. One of the money guys, hey James, showed up. Thank you at the ranch and said, "I want to see the first cut." That before they whatever, and just that assembly cut was better than what they put out there, and he was livid. Okay, this stuff with Kennedy losing her projects was started years ago. Okay, hey Dominique, years ago. If you think that Dave Filoni suddenly showed up being third in line to the throne at Lucasfilm was something that happened recently, it did. They just put it on there. That happened over a year ago now. That's and you can tell the show is soft. I'll admit it. It feels off, but that doesn't mean the story is bad. Okay. It it means that something was going. You can tell there's drama. You can tell there's drama going on or was going on. You know, I have a theory that Gina knew she was out long before it ever came out. Okay, I because she got that deal with Ben Shapiro immediately, like literally an hour after this stuff came out. So I think they were scrambling trying to figure out what to do before that. And it's reflected in the product. Okay. Doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean it's awful. It sucks. Don't watch it. You know, when you see people saying that, you know, I got to ask them, what do you want? Oh, I'm sorry, Nick. I can't. I'm on my phone and that's the best I can do. Um, Maybe I should put my earphones on. Um, if anybody else is having that problem, let me know. Um, but I want to say that we got to, and I mean, right now the world is in a really shitty place. Just look at the stock market. Oh, because a nitwit had to open up his mouth and invite the Russians into. Yeah, and she knew it was going to happen. Okay, okay, great. Um, the world. Okay, I'm going to put it. I'm going to do this. All right, find my right ear. All right, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Here. Okay, can you hear me now? Hello? Okay. All right, I'll take this off. Okay, we're back. Okay. Um, okay, great. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll go back and do that. Okay, so this one. So anyway, I really think that was in the plan the whole time. Okay, so I think people let what happened with her get ahead of them, and they gotta let it go. I really do think that hurts the franchise. It hurts the fandom, and it really shows a weakness in letting. And again, if you like the show, like it. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Watch it, because there's a lot of good in it. Okay, there's a lot of good in this show, and I really think that people have got to give it a chance. And this last one was, you know, The Mandalorian. When I look at the Book of Boba Fett as being a cutaway from the bigger movie, we get how he got to where he got. Well, that's not what I mean, look, you know when you. All right, I'll show you something. Koji. This is my dog Kojak. He'll do things just to get my attention. A 4-year-old kid will do things that are bad just to get attention. I'm not saying that's what Gina did, but it's kind of like that. It's I know I'm out, so I'm going to say what I want, and when it comes public, then there you go. Then I'm free. My problem is this, and I think Mike the Mexican Iron Man and Jay and James and everybody else that has known me for a while understand this. I'm a very loyal person. I don't truck with not respecting people who got to where you are, got you to where you are, or who gave you a chance. Doomcock, Cameron, Valiant Renegade, Mike, my friend Craig Johnson from the old days, Jay, Mazarus, who's not feeling too well right now. Dude, get better. We need you. I would never betray them. Latino Slam, Polly, Andre, Tom. I would never betray them. All right. If you got something, they put somebody like Jon Favreau, put you in a position where you're going to do something big for him. And he's got a lot riding on that. And you go out and continuously shoot yourself in the foot to the point where it's very easy for somebody like Kennedy to cut you off. You were never the target to begin with. He was. Because Kennedy knows what's coming. They're going to undo every bullshit thing she did. Susan Arnold knows, Susan Arnold knows that Disney can't make any money on the sequel trilogy. She knows that. The merchandise proves it. I can go to Ollie's and I'll bet I'll find all the comic books. I found the crappy Han Solo comic book last August, and in December it hadn't sold one at Ollie's. Shelves, walls of Rays from TFA unsold. All right. NTLJ. Scads of Soy Wars story playsets unsold. That ended up going to Ollie's. Do you think that Disney gets any money from that? They made money on the licenses. Did Hasbro? No. Did Target? No. Did Walmart? No. This is why all that stuff was there. Walmart, Target, Boscov's, other stores that sold it were like, we can't sell these. We gotta get rid of them. Okay. And hey, Thomas, and the powers that be know the market dictates what cog is being sold. Okay. The people the people out there in the market want this cog. They don't want that cog. That cog doesn't work. That cog is a square wheel when we need a round one. Okay? And for some reason the company ran to make round one or square ones. Okay, so they stopped making square ones and then sent them off to discount stores, dollar stores, and Dollar Tree and Ollie's. Okay? That's what's going on here. Okay? So Kennedy, in her little bubble, she didn't have to worry about money. She hitched herself up to Steven Spielberg a long time ago. And I know he now regrets it. He has to. But she's also sadly partners with him at Amblin. She doesn't understand. Okay, she doesn't understand how it works. Okay, if there's a want dictates what the market is going to have. And if I don't want a Kyle Ron doll or figure, if somebody buys me one as a joke and I put it out in the fire pit, I didn't buy it. They bought it on a discount from another store. Nobody who actually had anything to do with manufacturing it, marketing it, even the stores that bought them to put on their shelves brand new, made any money. All right, they didn't make any money. There's a reason why Mandalorian figures like that. There's a Megs Mayfeld coming out. I want that figure. I loved Bill Burr's character. I just think, I'm going to tell you something. In that episode of The Mandalorian where he shoots his former commanding officer, is one of the finest acted things I've ever seen in my life. I was like, holy shit. It was that good. I stake my reputation on that. There are good things coming out, and there are people out there that don't want to hear it. Complaining about them mining the EU, why not? They would have done it if George was still running the the studio. They would have done it if I ran it. I would have probably kept some of the stories, but I wouldn't have followed the whole storyline. First off, there are a lot of different things going on that contradict each other, that's what happens when you got hundreds of books and authors that don't really connect. Second of all, there's just some really crappy stories, like the Yuzhang Vong, stupid. Uh, you know, it's really, thank you, Holocron Jedi. And you can't adapt a book completely to a live action show. The only one I've ever seen that came close to it was Lonesome Dove. But Lonesome Dove back in the 50s was actually a script written by Larry McMurtry for John Wayne. And I think Jimmy Stewart, I think. And they ended up not doing it. Larry McMurtry turned it into a novel. Hey, Dave. And there you go. Okay. And it became one of the greatest, miniseries of all times. Okay. That's one of my favorite shows to watch because it was so well acted, so well written, and so beautifully shot. And I love Westerns. Okay. So you can do it, but it's got to be something that's a little bit more simple than what a lot of those books were. Okay? So what they're doing is fine. So I don't understand the outrage. I just think people are angry to be angry. And, there are a lot of people out there who are disingenuous, who liked TLJ till they realized they weren't going to make any money at it. And then, change their mind and suddenly, saw an avalanche of subscribers and money pouring in from YouTube. And that's fine. I don't care. But again, have some integrity. Okay. And then there are other people who I don't understand what their angle is. And I've discovered quite a bit from one of my subscribers who's in here, by the way. And it really didn't shock me, but I was pissed. Okay? I was pissed. This guy has got a lot of clout. And when I looked into it, I'm like, oh my God, people are being manipulated by this, So, I can't, it makes me mad. But this is where we are now. All right. You meet somebody on the internet and sometimes you get to find stuff out about them, I'll tell you something else. I am a very instinctive person. I am a hunter. Okay. I shoot. I go out and shooting. If you saw the gun collection, your mouth would drop open. I'm angling to get my own AR-15 now, but I want a camouflage one because I think they're cool. Just because I want one. And I normally never went for black rifles. But so, I learned how to read things. you know what I'm saying? Tracks and just look at an environment for something that's out of place. And that's actually done me fairly well with people. Okay. And when I met this person, I was like, this guy, that this is not good. This person's not who he says he is. And then I realized I was right. Okay. All right. And it hurts my heart badly to see good people mixed up with that because it's hurt the fandom. It really has. There are people out there that know what the hell they're talking about and getting abused because that guy has more clout, which is stupid. If you have internet clout, you're not much of a brave person. Like a guy on Doomcock's Facebook page today posted something about the Star Trek Underdecks thing, and whatever it was, and people were just trashing that show, and he was saying he liked it, and then he was proud of himself that he pissed so many people off, and this is my response to him and my response to that guy. Wow, you're a hero. Valhalla awaits you. John Basilone and Chris Kyle and Audie Murphy and Carlos Hathcock and Dick Winters, and all await you. Rob O'Neill and Marcus Luttrell are going to write songs about you. Just because you did something on me. Wow. Okay? I'm married to a hero. I've met guys that have put their necks out on the line. All right? That have been wounded badly. Okay? That have, under withering fire, called in artillery. Okay? One, received the Silver Star for bravery. Medal of Honor. Okay? So do not tell me some guy on the internet is a hero because he pissed off a movie director. Wow. Or he went and said something stupid on a Facebook page. It's laughable. Okay? It's laughable. But this is where we are now. All right? I mean, so when I sit there and I go, do not trust him, I'm saying it from my instincts. My gut is saying there's something out of place in this canopy of stars right now. Something is not like the other thing. Okay? And so that's another thing. It's just, and like I tell people, don't let anybody form your opinion. I know he did, but Jay, it was Cameron Pasha that actually alerted me, and I really want to give Cameron his due. I thought Doomcock would mention that. I'm like, dude, but that's here and there. But it's really what I love about these guys, Paulie, Tom Conkle, is that you can actually discuss film and the show without, the stupid, surface, shallow idiocy going on. I don't like it. Well, you haven't seen it. Well, I don't like it. Next. Okay. Thank you, Xenophat. It's just really remarkable where we've gotten. That's why I love Andre's opinion pieces and editorials on Minute's Edges, because there's an intelligence, okay? And I think the problem that people are having is that they're intellectually lazy. Okay, when I tell people the Book of Boba Fett might be slow. it might be off, but give it a chance because there's a lot of stuff that has come in from the EU, from other things that they're using. Okay, and there's nothing wrong in that. Okay, it's just is what it is, and I really think people are missing out on a lot of fun. And again, to the black pills, let people have their fun. Let them be happy. We've got sky high inflation. We've got an idiot angling to get us into a war with Russia, despite what the president of the Ukraine is saying. We've got women out there pretending they're men. You know, I mean, look at the stock market. I like to wake up on Wednesday mornings with something to look forward to. So please, if you don't like it, that's fine. But find a really good opinion. Okay? All right? Yeah, and you're right. You're right, Mike. It's off. But again, this leads me to think there was stuff going on behind the scenes before this announcement with Gina. Okay? But give it don't let people make up your mind for you. Okay? And I'm going to tell you this, my instincts, when I'm sitting out there on the deer stand and I'm looking down at a grove of trees in a field and I see something that looks off, and it's a horizontal stripe against trees and grass, I'm looking at my scope through that. That might be a log, it might be a deer. Okay? That's what you got to look at. That's how I think about these things. And my instincts say that there's something big on the horizon as far as a major resignation. And it's going to be Kennedy. I'm putting that out there right now. We are right about Han showing up. And Jay's right there. And we were right about that. What else are we right about? Yep, you're right. You're right, Jeremy. But just give it a chance and don't let these black pills who've forged the narrative that they won't be able to keep. Okay, they're already okay. I'll talk to you later. All right. I'll be over there in a minute. When you've got a lot of stuff going on, or like, now I forgot my point. This is something else I do. It's, what happens when you turn 40, and I'm not 40 anymore. Anyway, I gotta run. Okay, because it's noon and I didn't expect to be on this long. But hey, guys, welcome to the channel. I'm really, really happy you guys are subscribed. I want to thank Doomcock again for giving me a shout out, and Andre and Tom and Cameron and Mike and Polly and Tonkel and all these guys and Jay and Craig and Mazarus, get better, dude. And I want to say thank you to all of you. Something big is happening. All right, you just got to have patience, as Doomcock says. And the moment the narrative has been taken away from the big channels, now they're going to pull the goalposts further. Okay, and I already see them doing that. I already see Black Pills doing that. They can. Okay, that's fine. I don't care. This is Steph signing back. I'll see you around the galaxy.